Welcome to the Redditscape Vault. Stick around until the end to see a Christmas tree blow up. r/Ask Reddit. Chefs of Reddit, what is the worst and or stupidest accident you've seen in a kitchen? I worked at a high-end luxury ski resort. We had a program where young adults would fly in from other countries to learn and get experience on how to run a hotel or a specific part of the hotel. Great idea, but since the parents had to pay to fly them to our remote resort ski town, it was just a bunch of lazy rich kids. I worked in the kitchen. One girl decided she didn't want to work that day and came up with a genius plan. She would wrap her arm in plastic wrap to protect it and quickly dip her arm into the fryer to melt the plastic wrap, and she would get sent home for a couple days to recover, aka shop and ski. Yeah, it did not go according to plan. The plastic melted onto her skin. I can't remember how long she was in the hospital, but she needed a skin graft and went home afterwards. Grossest story was when I worked in a shady part of town. A restaurant down the street from us got shut down because they found a rat trapped in the frying oil that had been there for a while. They last changed the oil 2 months prior. As an 18-year-old assembly chef, I had to tackle my pancake cook. Before he dumped a 5-gallon barrel of water on a grease fire, I asked him to take care of because I was 8 tickets deep. Not a chef, but I worked as a server. The kitchen manager decided to use some very heavy-duty drain cleaner on one of our floor drains. Somehow it backed up and came spilling out without anyone knowing. The first one to go into that part of the kitchen was one of our younger servers, probably about 16 to 17. She slipped and fell on the chemicals. Almost immediately she knew something was off, but our manager was a bee, so she kept working through the irritation. Within 30 minutes she ran out and went to the bathroom. Our head chef noticed she was gone for more than 10 minutes and went to the bathroom to yell at her. Instead, she found her bawling her eyes out with some extremely painful chemical burns on her back and legs. They rushed her to the hospital. Only time in 10 years, that kitchen fully shut down. She got a big payout because it permanently scarred her, but yeah, none of us stayed there very long. Assistant kitchen manager demonstrated safe and correct mandolin handling techniques on my first day. Assistant kitchen manager sliced tip of thumb off during lesson. Returned from emergency room about 2.5 hours later to finish shift like a boss. I saw a KP empty the hot fat fryer oil into a drum that recently had methylated spirits in it. The flames were near invisible. Luckily, no one was hurt. This was years ago. I can't remember why there were big drums of meths, but I assume it was for the tableside cooking. Not a chef, but my friend who's a line cook. He slammed a completed ticket down onto the spike as hard as he could, quote, to show off. The spike went most of the way through a finger. He went to the hospital with the ticket spike still embedded in his finger. Thankfully, it didn't hit anything important, so he went back to finish the last 3-ish hours of his shift and brought the spike back with him. He went around showing off pictures of the injury. Not a chef, but in the alley of the restaurant, a server was putting the large oval trays meant to carry 4 steak plates. These trays are metal-lined within the black rubber plastic exterior, so they're really heavy. Well, the trays slip and fall on the hand of the girl cleaning Expo right beneath him. She loses her fingertip and everyone is white-faced from the blood splattered. Poor girl didn't know she lost her fingertip and was in the office asking how bad the cut was. One morning, me and my coworker were changing the oil on our fryers. The manager the night before had left the fryers on all night. We used 5-gallon buckets to toss out the old oil. He turned the handle to drain the oil and walked away to do something else. He didn't realize the oil was still hot, and when he went to pick up the bucket, the bottom fell out and soaked his pants and filled his shoes with 500-degree fryer oil. He passed out instantly from shock into the pile of boiling oil. They had to surgically remove his socks and pants from his skin. I can still smell that smell today. I worked at a traveling field kitchen. We basically got paid to join field trips and set up a kitchen wherever, and then help the people to cook their food. We were mainly managing the whole thing, but letting the people who hired us cook the food for themselves. In one of the trips, there were two idiotic brothers, and both of them got to the hospital in the same day. The first one, we asked him to connect one of the gas stations that we had. It was not his first trip. Everyone there was very experienced with this stuff. We asked him to make sure that he knows how to connect the gas station. He assured us that he did it lots of times before. Well, of course he didn't do it correctly. He somehow got the gas container to explode and somehow started a fire right after it exploded and then basically set himself on fire. We were in the middle of the desert and had to wait hours for a special team to get him to the hospital. The second one, we had few stations with huge pots with hot oil, and we fried potatoes in them. Each station had a few people that handled the whole thing. We were there to assist, of course, but we let them fry their own potatoes. Something fell into the oil. I think it was a cell phone. And the brother of the one that just set himself on fire decided that he can quickly grab the phone out of the oil, so he pretty much dipped his hand in the oil and took the phone. Again, we had to wait for a special team for the second time to get him to the hospital. Not a chef and not a kitchen, but absolutely the dumbest cooking thing I have seen anyone do. My neighbor, literally a genius, set up a turkey frying derrick, 100% a la good eats, and then fried that poor turkey for 3.5 hours, because that's how long a turkey takes to cook. There was literally nothing left but carbon. Even the bones were black and brittle. They came over to my house and had ham with us. Thank you so much for sticking around until the end. Hope you enjoyed the explosively festive fun.